tuned in to the Politics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. What's going on, St. Louis and world? You tuned in to the hottest show in the loop, the Politics Podcast, hosted by Terry Wilson. We got a very special guest in the building. As you can see, she's sitting next to me. I'm going to introduce her shortly. But I appreciate you all tuning in today. This is the first official show. Like I mentioned earlier, during the promo, I started a podcast with my good friend Ted Gatlin. He passed away. And, I really was battling with, am I going to really do this again? Because that was one thing that him and I did together. And, I got an epiphany the other day, and I think that was Ted talking to me. So the Politics Podcast is your home for St. Louis politics, and we'll be discussing a lot of local issues. The motivation for the show was to really bring some positivity to podcasting and the internet. I know we all get wrapped up into real STL news and all the other controversial shows. And I'm not saying we might not have a little bit of controversy, but this platform really is set up to highlight those leaders that normally aren't on the TV, but is doing great work around the community. And we want to highlight that and give them a platform to kind of speak and introduce them to you so you all can get to know who they are. And before we do introduce our guests, I just want to say happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Today is Mother's Day. And I happen to kick off my first show with my mother. And that is a beautiful thing. So I guess I spilled the beans when I said our special guest is my mother. So she's my mother first and foremost. But she is a woman who has done so much in her short life. I believe, I ain't gonna tell all the business, but she is over 50. She had a stellar educational career. She is a HBCU graduate of Harris Stowe. I believe back when she was going, it was Harris Teachers College. And she got her bachelor's degree in elementary ed. Elementary ed with special ed. With special ed. She went on and got her master's plus 30 at UMSL. She became an administrator. She served in various capacities in the St. Louis public schools. I believe all of her educational career was in the St. Louis public schools, and she is a product of the St. Louis public schools. She's a graduate of Northwest High School, class of 74.
Get it right. 1974.
And usually when I bring in my guests, I got to make sure I do my homework. But I was lucky because I grew up with this lady, and she retired about 10 years ago. And she couldn't sit down. She started her second life running a nonprofit. And she also continued her political career as mayor. And that is one of the reasons we have brought her here. We're kicking the show off with none other than Mayor Yolanda Austin. The right Yolanda. Shout out to Yolanda Austin, Mayor Yolanda Austin, the city of Jennings. Welcome to the Politics Podcast. How you doing, Mayor?
I'm doing great, and I'm so happy to be here on Mother's Day, but you need one correction.
What's
it is
that?
The great city of Jennings.
The great city of Jennings.
That's correct.
I need to make sure I get it right. And that's one thing about Mayor Austin. If you don't get it right, she will definitely put you in your place. So Mayor, we're gonna get right down to it, and we're gonna ask you a few questions. Just have a good conversation today, and I appreciate all of you tuning in to the Politics Podcast. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Podbean, 88.1 The Truth Radio, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Amazon, and Spotify. Hey, I said all that to say we out here, y'all. We are out here. So make sure y'all continue to support St. Louis Politics Podcast. And so, Mayor Austin.
Yes.
Let's jump right into it.
All right, I'm ready.
So, what's the one thing you wish you had known before you began your career as mayor?
Well, the one thing that I really wished I had known that it is, it's supposed to be a part-time mayor position, but it's not a part-time mayor position. It's truly a full-time mayor position.
Full-time mayor position.
Full-time.
And for you all that are listening that aren't from St. Louis, they're not familiar with St. Louis. St. Louis is a very unique place. So we have 88 municipalities in our St. Louis County area. And then St. Louis City is its own county. So it's the only municipality within St. Louis City. And you got 88 mayors and you got all the trustees and the council folks and councilmen, and you got all of these things that make up St. Louis County. And so Mayor Austin is the mayor of one of the largest African American municipalities in St. Louis County, with about how many, Mayor?
Probably about 14,700.
About 14,700. Hey, she said put some respect on
right.
our name because we have residents that we are serving. And I'm saying we because we're in a unique position as well. So I am on the city council in the great city of Jennings. And the mayor is not only my mother, she's my colleague. And so that's a question I wanted to ask you too, Mom. Mayor, Mom, it's Mother's Day. I can call you Mom on the air. But when we're in the chambers, it's Mayor. But like I said, we're in a unique position because, she's the mayor. I'm a city councilman. We always get some rumblings, not a lot, but we get some rumblings of people saying, well, how is she my mayor? He the city councilman. Because the people elected us. That's why. We live in two separate houses, and we love serving the community. But Mayor, let me ask you, how does it actually feel being the mayor and having your son as a council member?
Well, the mayor knows how to separate things. So I know when we're in City Hall, I know we have to work as mayor and councilman. And I try to make sure that we make that separation. And now when we go home, we something else. Yeah. But in City Hall, we strictly mayor and council member.
And you and I, we do a pretty good job of separating the two, especially after we're done with city stuff. Well, we're never done with city stuff because it's always a part of us. But when we're having family time, we make sure that we keep it strictly family. But there are times that when we are in meetings, see, this is another thing that people get misconstrued. They think just because she's my mother and I'm her son, that we're going to always agree 100% on everything. But is that true, Mayor?
No, that's not true. In the background, I'm like, what are you talking about? But then I have to say, okay, that's his opinion, and that's what he wants to say.
And you gotta respect it,
and I have
too.
to respect it.
Yes, you
so
do.
I just like, okay, he's another one of those council members, so let him say what he wants to say. My Lord.
She said another one
of those council members.
But what I will say though, it has really helped me grow, like, personally, because that's a huge challenge, being in a leadership role like that, and you with your mom, you know what I'm saying? Because it's some people that may say things that I don't like how they talk to you when they said it, but I have to make that adjustment and understand that I'm in this role as councilman, And also my mother's a big girl, so she could take care of herself. But sometimes,
I do
tempting.
remember one time you kept going on, and I kept telling you to close your mouth, and you kept going on until finally I think you went out the back door so you can cool off. You separated yourself, and so that's kind of how we do it. That's how we do it.
But that you know what, that was the first year too, and
yes,
so it was kind of rough. You know, we came in during some turbulent times in the city, and you know, it was just a lot of back and forth with people that it really wasn't a direct hit to me or even you. It was just everything that was going on. And like I said, you know, at the end of the day, you still my mama first. So when I hear somebody talking to my mama crazy, you know, I don't care. I'm going to bat. But I have made those adjustments. And I think you have too, because I be seeing your face sometimes. But you know, one thing I will say, the mayor can definitely hold her own. And I think a lot of that has to do with you being a principal and having to deal with it. So kind of talk about the transition from going from educator to mayor. Like what's some similarities and what's some differences?
There are a lot of similarities because as the principal, I had to hold the teachers accountable, and so now as the mayor, I just have to hold all the department heads accountable. And sometimes they will say I have to go into the principal's office. I was like, oh no, I hope you don't feel like that. But it's like evidently it comes out some. But we go in the principal's office, we get things resolved, and we go back out. And so it works. But I just like to say, working 31 years with the St. Louis Public Schools has really, really helped me through being a mayor. Taught me patience, taught me to be a good listener, and it taught me that I may have some children over in that corner over there or something, and once they're ready to come out of the corner, they can come back over and talk to us. But St. Louis Public Schools taught me a lot.
That is funny. If you're just joining in, you're tuned in to the hottest show in the Lou. It's the Poloutics Podcast, and we are here with the mayor of the great city of Jennings, and we're having a great conversation. And I want to say happy Mother's Day to all those mothers that are out there listening. We're going to take a short, and I mean short, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with some more conversation with the mayor. Yeah, mayor. Yeah, mayor. So we'll be back real soon. So sit tight.
Hey, it's your favorite Ladybug, and you're tuned into the hottest show in the Lou, the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics.
You better ask somebody.
This is the Hip Hop Gardener from Blackberry Landscaping. And when I'm ever listening to an app of podcast shows, I'm listening to the hottest show in the Lou, the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics.
You better ask somebody.
You're tuned in to the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. All right, we are back. We're having a great conversation. I got my mother in here. Shout out to all the mothers, all the grandmothers, all the aunties that had to step up to play the role of mother. Shout out to you. You are all appreciated. So we are in the studio with the mayor of the great city of Jennings. And I am so glad that my mother agreed to kick off my first of many shows with interviewing her. And, you know, actually when I was preparing for the interview today, I was like, man, this is going to be kind of interesting to to interview my mom, because we talk all the time. I mean, we talk every day. If I don't call her, it's a problem. You know, at 39 years old, if I don't call her just to say, what's up, Ma? It's a problem. It's a problem, huh?
It's a problem. By 10:30, 11 o'clock, you haven't called me. I'm texting you like, what's going on? I haven't heard from you today. You all right?
Well, we're having a conversation about the mayor in the great city of Jennings, and just asking her a few questions to get to know her. And, we talked about, her being the mayor and I'm myself being the councilman, and how that relationship goes. And, we had some funny quotes before the break, but we're going to jump back into the conversation. And Mayor, you're on the hot seat today.
I could take it.
So what has been your biggest challenges since becoming mayor, and what have you kind of learned from those challenges?
I think the biggest challenge is to having the residents to understand the process. They have a lot of needs. And I often tell them that they are our eyes and our ears in the community. And I don't care about them calling. Right. They think that they're calling, they're being on the defense, and I just sit and I listen to them. And that's all they really want, is somebody to really listen to them. And I have to let them know, okay, you call me today about grass, but grass not going to be cut tomorrow. Right. There's a process that we have to go through grass, but we're glad you called it in, and we are going to address it as soon as we can. And I think by them seeing and hearing that I'm taking the time and calling them back, a lot of them are like, you call me back. I'm so glad you called me back. So that was one breakthrough that we got through. I called them back. And so after I called them back, I listened to them and I told them, okay, well, we have to go through the process. But again, we wouldn't know about all these people living in the house unless you call me. Right. We wouldn't know about these people that didn't have trash unless you call me. We wouldn't know about somebody's been moving, they've moved out of this house for years and it's not being taken care of. Right. So again, by letting them know that it's all right. You can't complain. And I tell them we like compliments too, but your complaints are being heard.
That's good. Yeah. And that's a good point too, because, that's another reason that I wanted to start. That was some of the motivation of this podcast, because I wanted to kind of educate our people on the political process, not only political process, but government, period. I think a lot of people really just don't understand the certain functions of government. And that's why, us as elected officials, we get calls about some things that we can't even really fix because it's not our responsibility. Now, they look at us like, hey, we elected you, so you're supposed to have all the answers. But I think once folks kind of get an understanding and a grasp on who does what, I think those conversations and those complaints will change. Because, a lot of people don't realize, the county functions different than the municipalities, and the state reps function is different from the municipalities, the mayors, the council people, and even the senators and the governor and all of that. Everybody has a role to play. And, government 101, you have a executive branch, a legislative branch, and you have a judicial branch. And I think we kind of mix them all up when we're uneducated as a community. But, that's up to the leaders who are in these positions to take the time to educate people, on those different processes.
I just want to say one thing that our main streets that are in the city of Jennings, like West Florissant, Jennings Station, those streets and Halls Ferry and 367, those are maintained by St. Louis County. So a lot of our people think that, Jennings is not clean, Jennings is not clean. I just want to let you know, on Friday, I spent about 20 minutes going back and forth with St. Louis County. No, this street belongs to you. No, we're not supposed to clean the street. No, we need you to clean the street. We need you to clean the street. So this morning, Friday morning, when I woke up, I heard something outside my window.
What'd you hear?
I heard the lawnmowers going. Oh. And that was St. Louis County owning up to their responsibility, and they were cutting the grass.
Yeah, and that's a good point, man. I think the more we have these type of public conversations and help folks understand whose responsibility is what, like I said, I think a lot of those things and the mindset will change. But there are times where people just need to be held accountable. And, us as leaders, like you said earlier, we don't get offended when people call. See, I think I kind of get offended when you call and just start going off. That's where I kind of take offense, because it's like, hello, good morning, how are you doing? Let's greet each other first, so.
But it's all right for them to go out because they want to get it out.
That,
so
definitely.
once they go off and get it out, and the mayor doesn't go back on them, she just sits there quietly and let them just throw the darts at the mayor. And then afterward, they're like, oh, now that you explained it to me,
Makes
I
sense.
really understand. I want to get more involved in the city because you took the time to explain it to me. So I don't care about the darts. They can throw them. They can let it out, do what they want to. One thing that I'm not going to go back on them is to step down to whatever their level. Because I had one pastor, he told me, do not give anybody a piece of your mind. And you know why? Pastor Osby told me that. He said, don't give nobody a piece of your mind, because you need every piece of your mind that you have. So I let them get all of it out, and then I talk.
That's some good advice. Shout out to Pastor Osby. He is a man of a lot of wisdom. So Mayor, you ran for office when? Tell everybody, when did you first run for political office?
I first ran, I believe, in 2007.
What did you run for?
I ran for city council.
And in what ward?
I ran for city council in Ward 2.
Oh.
So I was on the city council for 8 years.
Okay.
And then in 2015, I ran for mayor. So I was unsuccessful at the race for mayor, but 2 years later, 2017, an opportunity came out for the mayor position again. I ran for the mayor position, and that's where I am.
And the rest is history.
Yes, 2017, I finished out a term. In 2019, I ran again, and so this is the 4-year term for Yolanda Austin.
That is awesome. I'm so proud. I'm proud to call you mom, but I'm also proud to call you mayor, because when we're out in the community, I hear a lot of good things about, the mayor. And it's funny when sometimes you come up in conversation and people don't realize that you my mom.
Right.
But, I try to kind of throw it out there fast in the conversation, because you know how people get to talking about different people, and I don't want nobody to say the wrong thing. So when they mention you, I say, oh yeah, that's my mom, and that kind of cut everything off. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's good. So you've only held 2 political positions in your career so far, and what would you say as councilwoman? What was one of your most rewarding times in being a council person?
Just being able to meet people and just try to take care of their needs. Yeah. Just meet them, and wherever they are, whatever they need, just to try to get the right resource out for them.
And so, a lot of people, that's a good point you said, meeting people, because a lot of people don't realize that community building really moves at the speed of trust. And you get trust when you have relationships, and it's all about building relationships. And that comes from whether it's building relationships with a neighboring mayor or a neighboring council person or state representative or another constituent, because that relationship builds character and it creates collaboration. So when it's time to do something, or if it is an issue, I already have a relationship where I can pick up the phone and say, hey, what's going on with this? How can we work together to resolve this? And so I think leaders need to understand that it's really all about those relationships. If you build those solid relationships, it makes everything else just so much easier when you're doing things in the community. So
I want to say on relationships. So one of the neighboring municipalities is Moline, and I just like to say Mayor Deshay, she has a a grocery store that's right in back of us, and a lot of times they're doing dumping, and so she has no problem if I pick up the phone and I was like, Mayor DeShay, they've got a lot of things dumped on there. She said, okay, Mayor, I'm gonna make a call and I'm gonna take care of it. But she could have gone a different way and said, well, what you calling me about? But that's the relationship that I have with Mayor DeShay, that if something's going on in her city, something's going on in mine, we can easily just pick up the phone and try to take care of it.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. So Mayor, what advice would you give someone wanting to pursue running for political office? If somebody was to call you right now and they said, you know what, Mayor, I've been watching you, been watching your son, been watching your husband, been watching your daughter-in-law now. I need some advice because I think I want to run for office. So what advice would you give somebody wanting to pursue running for political office?
Well, first I would I'd let them know to ask them. I would ask them, well, what position are you interested in running for? Do the research on that position. Don't just say, I'm just going to get out here and run and I don't know anything about the job or anything, but do your research, see what the expectations are, see what the time is needed, because being an elected official takes you away from your family a lot. So look at those things and see if you will be effective in that office and then move forward with it. But not just wake up one morning, I want to be a council member because I don't think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, let me find out exactly what a council member is supposed to be doing.
Yeah, find out the function of the position.
Mm-hmm. And then also, it's good for people to go into office, but again, this is something that you have to love and want to be passionate about, of working for the people. So just don't get out there because I want my name saying I'm the mayor. I want my name saying I'm a councilwoman. I want my name saying I'm just out there.
I want my name on a sign. I want people to see my name when they driving down the street. That was some definitely good advice.
Mm-hmm.
So Mayor, what is the one common myth about being a mayor that you would like to clear up? A lot of people have their perception of a mayor or just any elected position, but you specifically as a mayor, what's one myth that you've heard that you kind of want to clear up?
They think the mayor solves every problem. They do. They think the mayor solves every problem. They don't know that there are ordinances, there are policies, there are procedures. There's a direction that we have to go. They don't know that they're in the city of great city of Jennings, that there are 8 council members. And out of those 8 council members, those are the ones that actually vote. Yep. The mayor only votes if there is a tie. So they'll come to me, oh, Mayor, you put those speed bumps. Why you put those speed bumps out there? The mayor did not have the decision. We did the research. We did everything we needed to do. We took it to the committee, and the committee took it to the council for the council to make the decision. So again, they think the mayor does everything. Everything. We do everything.
But you know what though? As mayor, you're gonna get the credit when things go good.
That's right.
And you're gonna get the criticism when things go bad. And sometimes council members are in the position where they can kind of hide.
Yep. Comes right back to them.
And they can kind of throw it on the mayor, because I hear it all the time.
Call the mayor.
Man, you gotta call the mayor on that.
Call the mayor. Call the mayor. And when they call the mayor, I let them know that this particular council person voted on this. One thing that we have in our newsletter, when I started, I wanted to make sure that the community knew what was out there. So any ordinance that we vote on, it tells you the ordinance, the bill number, everything, and it tells you exactly which of the 8 council members voted on it. So the residents can see, oh, this council member didn't agree with this, huh? Right. So it's right out there in black and white. Everything's out there.
It's in the newsletter. Check out the new. How can they get the newsletter, man?
The newsletter is on our website. It comes out every 3 months. We have some in some of our businesses. We have them at City Hall, at the rec center. Some people were saying, well, can they be mailed? No, they can't be mailed. The reason they can't be mailed is we get so many things that come back where people have moved. So instead of wasting postage on that, I'm asking you to come and pick one up. And I ask the council members, being personable wherever you are, if you see people, give them a newsletter. A lot of times the mayor goes out driving through the city, and the people that I see, I just hand them a newsletter. It's all about being personal.
Hey, them relationships we was talking about.
That's it.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick 5-second break just to clear our throat, and we'll be right back. We appreciate you tuning in to the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics.
This is Chloe with Vassals, Comfort Shoes, and Custom Insoles, your diabetic shoe supplier in St. Louis. You're listening to the hottest show in the Lou, the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics.
Tuned in to the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. All right, we are back. Welcome back to the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there. We got a special guest in the studio. We've been having a great conversation. And we're getting down to the bottom of our show. I got a couple of more questions for the mayor. Just a couple. Mayor, you got time? You got time to talk to me?
A few more minutes.
As you know, the mayor is very busy. She never stops. But Mayor, I do want to thank you for coming in and joining the show today. I got two good questions I got for you. One of my last questions. In 5 words, tell me what good governance looks like to you.
Good governance to me looks like decision making.
That's 1.
Accountability.
That's 2.
Participation.
3.
Transparency.
4.
And what we've been talking about, building relationships.
Ooh, Mayor, you was on point with that out the gate. You ain't even have to think about it. So that means you actually live by those 5 things that you said, because you said it really without even thinking about it. And that's a good trait, a good sign, a good leadership. Genuine leadership, because you didn't even have to think about it. It just came right off. So, Mayor, before we get up out of here, what is one thing you hope to accomplish before you are done serving as mayor? Because I know you're not going to be there forever, because at some point you're going to have to start traveling and doing some other things. Because as soon as you retire from the school system, you immediately went to work in the community. You was already doing it while you were in education, but now you full time in it. So what's the one thing that you hope to accomplish before you leave office, whenever that is? What's that one burning thing that you want to get accomplished in the great city of Jennings?
So it has to be one thing. I got several.
I know
things.
you guys.
We're working on so much development within our city of bringing tax dollars back into our city. We're working on the crime, trying to make sure that it's a safe community for those that live here and those that are passing through. So I think those two are really 2 big issues that I really want to see before I leave, that things are in place in those 2 areas.
That's a good segue, because we do have one guest question for you, Mayor. I told you you're on the hot seat. And so we got a question from a resident, not a Jennings resident, but they are a neighboring resident. And this comes from Miss Jackie Buck Horton. And so Jackie sent a message in the inbox on the Poloutics Podcast website. And she asked, she gave me a story, and then she asked the question. And so she said that her family is having a family picnic. And they were trying to decide where they're going to have the family picnic. And so Jackie has been in the great city of Jennings several times. And, you know, one thing that we're known for in Jennings is our parks. And
Yes.
so Jackie suggested Kenneman Park to her family. And so she had two family members that said, you know, it's a lot of crime over there. I don't feel safe, and I don't even know if they even been to the parks before, but they're just speaking in general about Jennings. And so Jackie basically wants to know, what are you doing as mayor to change the perception of crime in the city of Jennings? Because we do know crime is up all over, and we sit in a unique area in Jennings because we're the gateway. I call us the gateway to North County, because when you leave the city, you go right through Jennings to get to North County, and we're the gateway to North St. Louis City, because when you leave North County, you go through Jennings to reach North City. So just kind of describe a few things that are going on in terms of trying to combat crime in the city of Jennings, but what's a specific thing that you're doing to kind of, change that perception of, it's crime over there, I don't want to go to the park? Because I was kind of hurt when she said that, because, me and my wife and my kids, we go to that park all the time, and I feel very safe going to that park. So
the Captain Law, and I, we work closely. We talk daily. We meet weekly with our neighborhood watch. We have our senior neighborhood watch meetings that we meet with. And then specifically in our parks, and we've had some dumping that has been going on. So we have a security company that we contract with, and they are in our parks Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then they're patrolling throughout the city the other days of the week. So again, we don't just have the police officers. We have the security company, and I go through the park every day. Whenever I'm out on my way home, I always want to just drive through Lions Park or Kenneman Park. And so we're trying to make it, again, a safe place for people that want to come. And as you said, we're known for the best park in St. Louis County through our Kenneman Park. And so I just want people to know that we're doing as much as we can. Some of the crime that we are having within our city has been brought into our city. So it's not the people that are here, it's people that are on the outside that are coming in. But we're on top of it. As I mentioned earlier, we have some complaints about how there may be too many people living in a house. Okay, so let us know that. We immediately call the building department, the inspector. We look at the occupancy permit. We have someone go over and try to see who's supposed to be there. So we are trying to be on top of as much as we can to make this a safe community for all.
Mayor, that was wonderful. So so we're actually about to wrap up our show today. Mayor, do you got any final thoughts before I go into my final thoughts and we end our first show? Do you have any final thoughts, any words you want to say to the community before we move on?
I just want to say that we work very, very hard within our city. I work very closely with the department heads, and those are the ones that carry out the things that need to be carried out. And we meet monthly. I have an open door policy for them if they have concerns, but I work very closely with them, and that's an important piece to everything to make things happen. This is not just the I. We are built on a we. And when things are successful, we are successful. When things are not, it's a we. It's not an I.
It's not an I. So, Mayor, where can the folks find you or get in contact with you if anyone wants to call you, email you, social media? Where can they find you?
Okay, I'm on Twitter. You can find me on our city website, cityofjennings.org, and the mayor's on Facebook 24/7. I'm telling you, I get emails and Facebook questions. Things need to be done, and I try to react on them immediately. So I'm out there. You can find me.
And so, I know I said that was the last thing, but the city of Jennings has some jobs out there, right?
Yes, the city of Jennings.
What jobs are available for folks to apply to, and where can they apply for those jobs?
They can apply at the cityofjennings.org, or they can come into our City Hall, 2120 Horde Avenue. But we have positions. We need inspectors. We need a deputy inspector. We need public works. We need about 4 or 5 people to work in our parks and on our streets. We need 1 person in our courts. And most importantly, we need an assistant to work with the mayor. The mayor has a position that she's opening up where she needs someone to work part-time with the mayor because she is running the city clerk crazy with all of the demands and things that I'm asking for. So we've opened up a position where, again, someone can be an assistant to the great mayor of the city of Jennings.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You're tuned in to the Poloutics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. Well, folks, there you have it. The mayor of the great city of Jennings, Miss Yolanda Austin. So happy to be my mother as well. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Thank you, son.
I appreciate you coming in, taking time out of your busy schedule.
I'm so proud of you. Proud of you. You are just, every time I look at you, it's like, oh, here he is going this, here he's doing that. I mean, a true role model for any young person in the city.
I appreciate that, Mom. It means a whole lot.
And I'm sure that your friend is smiling down because this is something that you all did together. And I'm sure that he is very glad that you're carrying it out.
Absolutely. And in that same vein, I'm glad you brought that up. I partnered up with an organization called the Justice Tribe. And if you check out the social media, we have started a scholarship in honor of Ted Gatlin Jr., and it's specifically for students at the University City High School, graduating seniors from the University City High School and Jennings High School. You can apply, and this is for our next set of rising stars that are coming out of high school. And one thing that we wanted to focus on, you know, the 4.0 and the 3.5 students always get the opportunities, but it's some students that they fall in that 2.0 to 2.5 that ain't really bad students.
Was that the area you fell into?
I actually graduated with a 3.0 in high school, but I had to do catching up because of me messing up early on in my career.
Okay.
But that's why we wanted to focus on those students, because sometimes those students get lost in the shuffle. And, we want to make sure we targeted those students and gave them an opportunity and let them know, hey, somebody is watching and we're willing to give you a chance because we know that you're set up for greatness. And so you can apply online You can go to my website. Not my website. You can go to my Facebook, and I have the link on there, and I'll actually have the link for the scholarship on the YouTube. If you're watching YouTube or if you're watching Facebook right now, the link will be right here in the description of this video. And once again, I appreciate you all tuning in. I hope you continue to support the show. If you want to be a guest on the show, send me an inbox, and if it makes sense, then we're going to definitely make it happen. But I'm excited about this. We're going to keep this going. We're going to have a fun time. Everybody be safe out there. Have a happy Mother's Day. And I appreciate you all tuning in. And we'll see you next week at 6 p.m. right back here on the Politics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. You're tuned in to the Politics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics.